Good evening. The world of artificial intelligence is facing a new battle, not in labs but in the U.S. Congress. The GAINAI Act has sparked fierce debate, pitting national security against technological progress. At the center is Nvidia, the leader in AI chips, warning that this law could backfire and harm U.S. leadership. This isn't just a tech policy fight, it's about who controls the future's most powerful tools. The question, should America keep its best technology at home or lead by supplying the world? The outcome will shape not just Silicon Valley, but the global economy and the future of innovation. So, what does the GAINAI Act actually do? At its core, the GAINAI Act is a new piece of U.S. legislation designed to reshape how America handles the production and sale of advanced artificial intelligence chips. The law is a direct response to growing concerns about the global race for AI dominance, national security, and the need to secure America's technological edge. It's not just about business, it's about who controls the future of AI innovation. The Act specifically requires U.S. chipmakers, such as Nvidia and other leading semiconductor companies, to prioritize all domestic orders for their most advanced AI chips before they can even consider selling those chips to foreign buyers. This means that American customers, whether they're companies, universities, or government agencies, are guaranteed first access to the latest and most powerful AI hardware developed on U.S. soil. For example, if a top U.S. university and a major German tech firm both want to purchase the same cutting-edge chip, the American institution will always get priority. There are no exceptions or loopholes. This rule applies across the board, regardless of the size or influence of the foreign buyer. The law enforces this strict prioritization through robust export controls, focusing on only the most powerful processors, like Nvidia's H100 and H200 series, which are essential for training and running the most advanced AI models. These chips are now treated almost like military technology, with tight restrictions on who can buy them and where they can be shipped. Foreign buyers, no matter how much they're willing to pay, can't jump the line or negotiate for better prices or faster delivery. The law is clear, U.S. demand comes first, and international customers must wait their turn. By doing this, the U.S. government is taking unprecedented control over private technology sales, effectively treating advanced AI chips as strategic national assets, on par with energy resources or defense equipment. This level of oversight is new for the tech industry and signals a major shift in how the government views the role of technology in national security. Supporters of the GAINAI Act argue that it's a necessary step to protect American interests and ensure the country stays ahead in the global AI race. They see it as prudent protection in an era of fierce international competition. Critics, however, warn that this could be a dangerous overreach, stifling innovation, harming global partnerships, and potentially sparking trade disputes. Ultimately, the GAINAI Act marks a dramatic shift in U.S. technology policy, from a focus on global sales and open markets to a U.S.-first approach. It's a move that could redefine the balance of power in the world of artificial intelligence for years to come. Nvidia's response to the proposed GAINAI Act has been swift and unequivocal. The company, a global leader in AI hardware, is pushing back hard against what it sees as misguided regulation. According to Nvidia, the GAINAI Act is a solution in search of a problem. Lawmakers may be eager to show they're taking action, but Nvidia argues that the proposed law addresses issues that either don't exist or are already being managed by the market. The company insists it already prioritizes U.S. customers, not because of government pressure, but because it simply makes good business sense. American tech firms are among Nvidia's largest and most important clients, and the company says it has every incentive to keep them at the front of the line. But Nvidia's concerns go far beyond just its domestic customers. The company warns that if the U.S. government starts dictating who can and cannot buy its products, global clients may feel alienated. This could drive them to seek out alternative suppliers in other countries, ultimately eroding the very U.S. dominance the law is supposed to protect. And it's not just about AI chips. Nvidia cautions that the GAINAI Act could set a dangerous precedent, opening the door to future restrictions on a wide range of advanced technologies. Today, it's AI hardware. Tomorrow, it could be quantum computing, biotech, or other critical innovations. The company argues that isolating American technology from the rest of the world would have a chilling effect on innovation everywhere, including right here at home. Collaboration and global exchange, they say, are the lifeblood of technological progress. Nvidia also challenges the narrative of a dire chip shortage. While supply has been tight, the company claims the market is already adjusting, with new investments and increased production capacity coming online. In their view, the so-called crisis is being exaggerated to justify unnecessary intervention. Heavy-handed regulation, Nvidia warns, would do more harm than good. By isolating the U.S. tech industry, the law could cut off access to global markets and the revenues that fund future breakthroughs. This, they argue, would ultimately slow progress and reduce America's competitive edge. Instead of strengthening American leadership in technology, the GAINAI Act could unintentionally weaken it, making it harder for U.S. companies to compete on the world stage. In Nvidia's view, the real risk isn't foreign competition. It's that America, in trying to protect its lead, could end up isolating itself and losing the very advantages that made it a global tech powerhouse in the first place. Supporters of the GAINAI Act see things differently. For them, it's about protecting U.S. economic and national security in a high-stakes tech race, especially against China. They argue that with a limited supply of top chips, America must equip its own innovators first. Advocacy groups hail the bill as a way to ensure the U.S. keeps its edge in AI, science, and defense. They point to long wait times and shortages for smaller U.S. firms as proof the current system isn't working. The act aims to level the playing field, making sure all American innovators, not just the biggest, get access. For supporters, it's about putting national interest above pure profit. To understand the GAINAI Act, compare it to the earlier AI Diffusion Rule. The Diffusion Rule targeted China, capping chip exports to slow its military and tech growth. It was about denying a rival, not prioritizing U.S. customers. Companies made weaker chips for China, but allies could still buy top-tier products. The GAINAI Act is broader. It puts all foreign buyers, friends and foes, behind U.S. customers. It's an America-first supply chain policy, not just an anyone-but-China rule. This shift could disrupt relationships with allies, not just adversaries. The intent prioritizes domestic access, even if it means allies must wait. The GAINAI Act would send shockwaves through the global tech ecosystem, rippling far beyond U.S. borders. This legislation, designed to secure America's technological edge, would instantly reshape the delicate balance of power in the semiconductor industry. The world's digital infrastructure, from smartphones to supercomputers, relies on a complex web of global supply chains. Any disruption in this network could have profound and unpredictable effects. America's closest allies, Europe, Japan, and South Korea, would suddenly find themselves second in line for critical chips, a resource as vital as oil in the digital age. These nations, who have long partnered with the U.S. on technology and security, might feel sidelined and vulnerable, forced to reconsider their own strategies for technological independence. This sense of exclusion could breed resentment, straining alliances that have taken decades to build. In response, these countries may accelerate efforts to build their own chip industries, investing billions to reduce reliance on American technology. The result? A fragmented global market, with new competitors rising to challenge U.S. dominance, and a world where collaboration gives way to rivalry. Meanwhile, China would see the GAINAI Act as a clear signal to double down on self-sufficiency. Already investing heavily in its own semiconductor sector, China would likely accelerate its efforts, pouring resources into research, development, and manufacturing. The race for technological supremacy would intensify, with China determined to close the gap and reduce its vulnerability to U.S. policy shifts. Instead of simply protecting U.S. interests, the act could unintentionally fuel a new era of global competition. Nations around the world, feeling threatened or left behind, might band together to create alternative supply chains, new alliances, and rival technologies. The global tech landscape could become more fractured, with each region pursuing its own path. For U.S. tech companies, the consequences could be severe. These firms rely on global sales to fund the massive investments needed for research and development. If access to international markets is restricted, revenues could fall, slowing the pace of American innovation and making it harder to stay ahead in the AI race. The risk is clear. In trying to hoard AI's golden eggs, the U.S. might inadvertently weaken the very goose that lays them. By focusing too much on protectionism, America could undermine the open, collaborative environment that has fueled its tech leadership for decades. Over time, the law could make the U.S. tech sector less competitive, less innovative, and more isolated from the global community. The short-term gains of security could be outweighed by long-term losses in influence and creativity. As America tightens its grip, the world may respond by building new bridges, alliances, and partnerships that bypass the U.S. entirely. In trying to protect its lead, the U.S. could find itself watching from the sidelines as others shape the future of technology. The AI chip market is defined by scarcity. Demand far outstrips supply. Building new chip factories takes years and billions, so whoever controls supply holds immense power. Nvidia's global sales strategy spreads risk and funds the next generation of innovation. The GAINAI Act would shift allocation from market-driven to government-mandated, introducing inefficiencies. For example, a critical German medical project could be delayed while a less urgent U.S. order gets priority. The current system is a complex dance of business and government. The act would replace it with a rigid America First mandate. The risk-losing flexibility, innovation, and the global revenues that keep U.S. tech ahead. The act could end up prioritizing control over progress. At its core, this debate is a balancing act between national security and global leadership. Proponents of the GAINAI Act want to secure America's technological edge by keeping the best tools at home. Opponents argue that U.S. strength comes from leading the global market, not walling it off. The act is defensive, hoarding resources to protect against rivals. Nvidia's approach is offensive, dominate by selling to everyone and reinvesting in innovation. Both strategies have risks. Isolation could slow progress, but openness could leave the U.S. vulnerable. The choice is between protection and integration, control and growth. America's future in AI may depend on which vision prevails. The GAINAI Act debate is about more than chip exports. It's a crossroads for U.S. tech policy. Will America lead through open markets or retreat behind strategic walls? The stakes are high. The wrong choice could isolate the U.S. or leave it exposed to real shortages. Lawmakers must decide whether to trust market forces or impose government control. This is about more than chips. It's about America's identity in a changing world. The outcome will reveal whether the U.S. builds walls to protect or bridges to lead in the age of AI.